Welcome to the Otters Cast, a podcast where we take you behind the scenes and getting to know the Evansville Otters. I'm your host, David Nguyen. Patrick McGuff is having his best pitching performance of his career. He is currently 4-0 with a 1.32 ERA, and as of June 4th, 2019, he leads the Frontier League in strikeouts with 49. I sat down with Pat to talk about his baseball journey, his basketball skills, converting from a hitter to a pitcher, and much more. Before we get to Patrick McGuff, I encourage you to hit the subscribe button to get alerts on each podcast, as well as other video content about the Otters to give you the best information about the team at all times. Make sure to follow the Otters on social media, on Twitter at EvilleOtters, on Facebook at facebook.com/Evansville Otters, and on Instagram. And now, my sit down with Patrick McGuff. All right, welcome to the third edition of the Otters Cast. I am here with Otters ace, Patrick McGuff. Pat, first things to start off, Bill McCune has embraced the fact that you're Irish. He calls you the Irishman. So my first question to you off the bat is, do you embrace the fact that you're Irish, and how has that kind of molded you to who you are?
Yeah, I definitely embrace it. I did one of those DNA tests, actually, and it showed that I was I think it said I was 45% British, and then 40 or 45% Scottish Irish, okay, and then a bunch of other stuff for the last 10%. So I think I was just as equally British as I was Irish. But yeah, I embrace it for sure. I mean, obviously I have a pretty Irish name, and my grandpa loves it too. So yeah, I try to embrace it as much as I can, but also embrace my mom's side that didn't give me my last name, but so they're more of a British family, I guess.
Got it. And just to note, you were wearing a Lucky brand hat with the 4-leaf clover?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's just my golf hat. I need all the luck I can get out there.
Absolutely. So, take me through your childhood. Growing up, I feel like a lot of athletes, they grew up playing any sport that their parents signed them up for. Was that the same way with you, and what sports did you sign up for?
Yeah, I mean, I started off when I was young playing soccer, and I started off playing baseball and basketball. And then as I progressed, I ended up quitting soccer. I played football for 1 year and wasn't a huge fan. I don't like getting hit all that much. And that's why I don't catch. So I played football for 1 year, and I was mainly baseball, basketball, and I played basketball in high school too, and played until my junior year. And my senior year, I didn't play. I wanted to try to develop a little more for baseball. I kind of saw the light in playing college baseball. So I played a little of everything when I was young, but when I got to high school, mainly baseball, basketball.
Now, growing up, did you have any siblings? And if so, I feel like sometimes siblings bring out the best in each other.
Yeah, I have one brother. His name's Ryan. What year is it? He's 20. He'll be 23 this year. No, he'll be 22. I lied. He'll be 22 this year. And he's in college right now. He'll be a senior this upcoming year in college. And he's bigger than me. He's 6'3". I'm only 6'2". But we are about as opposite as you can get, just activity-wise. So, I did sports in high school, and obviously that's been a big part of my life. And he did a show choir and things like that, and he's into acting and stuff, and he's really good at it. And I think it's really cool to watch. I've actually been to a handful of Broadway plays, mainly because of his interest. Kind of even sparked a little interest on my part. I can never do it, but he can do it, which is kind of cool.
What school is he at?
He goes to Miami of Ohio, which is about 20 minutes from where I live.
Right. You're a Cincinnati boy, born and raised. So, growing up, was Ken Griffey your idol?
Oh yeah, favorite player ever. Yeah, definitely.
especially during those days when, they were pretty good thanks to him. But what was it like, particularly growing up as a Reds fan? Is that the team in Cincinnati between them and the Bengals?
Oh, yeah. The Reds and Bengals are definitely the team. I don't know how they keep managing to keep such loyal fans, but there's a lot of Reds and Bengals loyal fans. My family, we've had tickets to the Bengals we've had season tickets for I think over 20 years now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so and they're awesome seats. So definitely a Reds fan, and that was the coolest part about getting an opportunity to play with them last year is they have a lot of rovers, is what we call them. So like guys that have retired with the Reds and they were with them for a long time. So like Eric Davis and Barry Larkin, I got to meet them, which was like meeting a couple of my idols from my childhood. So that was awesome.
So growing up, you did put a focus on baseball. As a youth, were you on a travel team where you traveled in the state of Ohio to play select tournaments? Were you traveling to other states to play tournaments? Because that's one of the big scenes I've seen from a firsthand standpoint as far as youth baseball traveling all parts of the country.
Yeah, I never traveled until I was 13, and then all the way up until then, though, I played Little League, and I'm a big supporter of Little League. Some guys, especially when you get around pro ball, some guys don't like it. They want to do leadoffs and everything. But I think Little League teaches a lot of the right stuff, and I don't think I'll ever not support Little League. And luckily, where I'm from, the Little League around us, they've been to the Little League World Series, I want to say 4 or 5 times in the last 10 years or so, or 10 or 15 years, yeah.
That's awesome.
So they're notoriously good, and the coaches around there are really, really good at developing players. So I was lucky enough to have very good coaches and develop as a young dude. But yeah, I never really did travel ball until I was 13, and even then it was pretty minimal in 13. And then I'd say 15, 16, 17 is when I started traveling a little more, and we went down to Georgia and Tennessee to play. But before then, yeah, I hardly traveled at all. Even before 13 years of age, I didn't travel at all.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because everyone I've learned from talking to some of the guys, especially being in indie ball, everyone has a different story and a different path to where they got to. So it's quite interesting. So then you went to high school and you played basketball and football and baseball, not football. One, can you still shoot? Were you a guard? And when did you put more of your focus in on baseball?
Yes, I can still shoot. I'm the best horse player on the team.
Okay.
I haven't seen anybody else shoot, but
will others admit that you are?
And whenever they play me, they'll admit it because I know I'm the best. I don't know. I think Taylor Wright's probably pretty good. I think he played a little college basketball, so he might beat me. But I still got a lot of confidence there. But yeah, I shoot a lot. I still go out to the gym and shoot all the time. And what was the second part of the question?
When did you gear your focus more on baseball than basketball?
Yeah, so like I said earlier, I played basketball until my junior year in high school, and then shifted. Luckily I had a lot of good people around me, and they said they were kind of telling me, hey man, we love watching you play basketball. We think you're great at it and all, but we think your future's really in baseball. You could benefit from putting on some good weight. So I did. Luckily, I ended up quitting basketball after my junior season, and I put on, I think, 15 pounds, and most of it being muscle, and a lot of people noticed that. So it's not like I gave up basketball for no reason, which was a good feeling. I gave up basketball and really, really did benefit from not playing.
When did you know that sometimes it's always a dream to play a professional sport? When did you know that playing professional baseball or even a high level of Division I baseball or college baseball, when did you know that this so-called dream could be a reality?
Never really until it happened. I didn't even think. I had no Division I offers out of high school, and my first 3 college offers were to hit and not pitch. So I couldn't do that anymore, but so I mean, I didn't think – I had a lot of small schools wanting me to play the outfield and hit, and then I had no Division I offers. So, like I said, I had some good people around me, and they suggested junior college, which was phenomenal for me, and I developed a lot, especially my sophomore year. I didn't develop a whole lot my freshman year, but my sophomore year I developed a whole lot and got a ton better, and luckily Morehead State liked me enough to offer me a scholarship. And I mean, I didn't know that was even really possible until they actually did it, until I got on campus and got an offer from them. And I loved the vibes I got from the coaches and what they had going there. So I committed, I think probably within the week or two that they offered me, so almost immediately. And I'm so glad I did. I honestly don't think I could have done a better job in choosing a school in Morehead State after going to Sinclair Community College. And also in Sinclair, I loved it there, same deal. Honestly, I've been pretty lucky. Like, I don't know why I keep falling into these great coaches and great people where I'm at and set me up for a great opportunity, but I keep doing it, so that's pretty cool.
Maybe you have the luck of the Irish.
Yeah, that might be it. I mean, I think the same thing about being here in Evansville. I don't know how, like, I just got really lucky. I didn't do anything crazy about it besides, like, talking to Bobby after I got released by the Twins, and other than that, I mean, there was no rhyme or reason why I should have ended up here and playing for a great coach like Andy McCauley and like having a great pitching coach like Max Peterson.
That's another question I want to ask you. As far as when did you switch from being a hitter to a pitcher, or were you just always a pitcher?
No, I was actually always a hitter, and
What position?
I played outfield, mainly right field. I wasn't fast enough for center, but yeah, I always played outfield and was always a position player before a hitter. And then some people were saying, "Hey, man, we think you got a pretty good arm," and so I always pitched a little bit, but my senior year in high school was probably when I started legitimately pitching the most and throwing a lot of innings. And so I threw a lot that year and that summer and stuff, and got a couple junior college offers, so pursued that obviously. But yeah, I was always hitter first, and my junior college coach doesn't like to admit this, but he did offer me as a two-way player out of high school.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to a different junior college over here in Illinois, actually, and then went back to Sinclair Community College in Ohio. And he won't admit it, but he did offer me as a two-way player out of high school.
Right, so they must have seen something in your arm from right field that you could have the potential to be a hard-throwing pitcher.
Yeah, and they saw me pitch too. So it wasn't like they didn't see me pitch. They did, but yeah, I remember a couple games they came to. I put on a good show at the plate, which was really well. I think I hit a couple home runs when they were there. They probably should have attended more games because I need to get that number up. But
now, what is it about pitching that you like? I feel like when you're on the mound, you bring a sense of command, a sense of pride, the fact that you want to do well. In a way, you're in control of the outcome. Is that maybe one of the reasons why you switched to being a pitcher?
Yeah, well, part of the reason I switched is because I was too slow to play the outfield, being honest with myself. But and I wasn't going to be ever going to be able to hit left-handed pitching, and I'm a left-handed hitter, so that wasn't going to work either. So kind of forced into pitching because I had a good arm and probably wasn't going to be a great hitter in reality. But I love being in control of the game. It's my favorite thing to do. I don't ever really catch myself, like, even now, wanting to be a hitter. I always just love pitching so much, and I ask our hitters that. I ask them, like, do you guys ever want to pitch? And all of them always say yeah, and I'm always like, well, I want to take BP, but I don't really ever want to hit. That doesn't bother me. I'm good with just pitching for now until I absolutely have to hit, in which case I'll find a way then. But
so maybe if there's a blowout situation with the Otters winning, of course, and they need a pinch hitter, you would take the challenge if offered?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put my name into that pool and see if I can't snag one of those at bats at some point. But I don't think it'll happen now. I think if it happens at all, it'll happen very late in the year. But yes, I'm gonna try to get into that one for sure.
Okay. So you did mention you had quite a journey for college. Wabash College for Wabash Valley, and then Sinclair. Why two different community colleges within 2 years?
Well, at Wabash, I was with our hitting coach, Bobby Siegel. He was our assistant coach at Wabash. That's kind of how I ended up here as well. But the reason I transferred, they tried to make me a side armor, which I wasn't really. At first, I was a gullible little freshman and didn't really know any better, so I did it. But I didn't think that was the right move for my career, and I'm obviously glad that I decided that. And so I left because they didn't have a whole lot of faith in me as a regular pitcher, so they started trying to change me a lot. So I left, went back to Sinclair Community College, and they allowed me to freely be who I was and throw in my natural arm slot, which is over the top. So that was a much better situation for me.
And then Sinclair, I believe you went to the championship in that particular JUCO realm, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Regional championship, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to a regional championship at both junior colleges.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you already had experience of playing in big-time games before you ever got to Morehead State.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. My freshman year, I actually pitched in the regional championship. I pitched when we were getting beat pretty badly, but I left on a good note. I pitched 3 innings, and I think I struck out 4 or 5.
Okay.
So I left on a good note that I hope made him miss me.
Now, you did go to Morehead State, and it's clear that you had a really good time there. I think, especially on and off the field, you guys went to the NCAA tournament, I believe, your junior year. What was that like? Because I think that's a college player's dream, not only to make the tournament, but have a chance of getting to Omaha for the College World Series. So what was that like, especially it's your first year at a D1 university, too? Yeah,
it was awesome, and it was really cool, too, because Coach McGuire, that was his 3rd year as the head coach at Morehead State. And, I mean, he took over a program that was completely broken and got a lot of his own guys in there and started making a lot of good moves. And, yeah, it was pretty rewarding to go through that with Coach McGuire. And he was trying to change the mentality as a whole. I mean, they were pretty extremely mediocre team. That was the first time we won the conference tournament since 1993. So we went 20-plus years without having a conference tournament win. And so that was the general vibe around Morehead State was, it's not a baseball school. So Coach McGuire took it under his belt and it's a baseball school now. They won 40 games this year. And they played in a regional last year against Clemson, took Clemson into extra innings in the first game. And so, they're arguably the best team on campus. There's a lot of good athletics, there, but it's becoming a baseball school and a nationally known school that's going to put up 35 plus wins every year. So yeah, and playing in the regional was unreal. We played at Louisville. During the selection day, we were all hoping we would go somewhere else like UCLA or somewhere out west or LSU, somewhere big like that. But Louisville is plenty big, but we play them every year, so it's kind of seeing the same person again. But it was awesome. We had a good game against them. I think the final was like 7-4, 7-3 the first game, and we put up a good fight. But there was 8,000 people there, and I think 7,500 were wearing red. So. Right. It was pretty cool to have our little section of fans, but yeah, it was an unreal environment.
Yeah, I think Morehead State. How much is Kenneth Faried talked about? Because I'm sure he's arguably the best name at the school.
Yeah, Kenneth Faried and Phil Simms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Phil Simms.
I did not know that.
Yep. Yeah, Phil Simms is probably bigger than Kenneth Faried, but yeah, Faried's talked about a lot. And I think he comes back and visits and does a basketball camp every year. But yeah, Phil Simms is probably the biggest one too. He's pretty talked about as well in the sports community.
Right. Switching, so you finish up at Morehead State, and you get drafted. Now, did you know that you had a chance to get drafted? And when the Twins selected you, I believe the 36th round?
Yeah.
What were your emotions like? I guess take me through your draft process.
Yeah, I knew I had a chance. I didn't really know what round. And I knew it was going to be late, but I did understand that I had a chance to get drafted, which was nice. That year we had 3 guys get drafted. Me, Matt Anderson, who went to the Pirates, and Tyler Keel, who went to the Diamondbacks. And those were 10th and 16th round, I think.
Oh, wow.
So they knew they were going to go pretty high. They're phenomenal pitchers. But I knew I had a chance. I was kind of a bubble guy. And if not, I was hoping to maybe even get a free agent sign. But I talked to quite a few scouts, and on the 3rd day of the draft, which is rounds 11 through 40, I talked to a couple scouts who said that they were going to pick me. And then I talked to the Twins guy on the 25th, said he was going to pick me. And I waited 4 or 5 rounds, didn't pick me, obviously, until the 36th. And then I talked to a Padres guy in the 30th, and he said that they were going to pick me, and they didn't pick me. So, I mean, it was a whirlwind of a day, but it was cool and pretty lucky. Like I said, I've fallen into a lot of luck in my career, and pretty lucky to have gotten drafted by the Twins. The guy the scout that saw me was not there to see me. Funny enough, yeah, he was there to see this guy named Joey LaCasey, who pitches in the big leagues now. So they were there to watch him. I just happened to be pitching on the other side of the field.
So, anyway, you notice, because obviously, whenever it's a game day, you want to play your best. But also, I'm sure you knew that you never know who's watching.
Yeah, and luckily, my dad played college sports. He played baseball and football in college. So, I mean, he always instilled that in me, like, hey, you never know who's watching. It just takes one time to make an impression. And honestly, that's exactly what happened with the Twins. That guy only saw me pitch one time. I pitched really well, and guy threw 3 2/3 and struck out 7. So, I mean, It was a great day, but like I said, he wasn't there to see me. None of those. There was probably 20 scouts in the stand. None of them were there to see me, and it was just really cool that happened. That it happened that way.
Right. So you played rookie ball as well as single A with the Twins.
Yeah.
And about three years with the Twins in the Twins organization.
Yeah, 2 years, and then spring training in the 3rd year.
When you got released, what was probably maybe a low point, but did you understand the business side of things, or I guess what is that like? Because you get to the big leagues and you're progressing in the minor leagues, I guess at a pace you think is all right, but what was just that whole experience? Yeah,
I mean, I understood it. It made a lot of sense. Well, we had a bullpen that was unbelievably good, and when we were in Cedar Rapids in 2017, and we were really good. So I got that they released me, and there was a couple guys that were a little higher priority than the 36th round pick. So yeah, I understood the business side of it. I thought I had put up good enough numbers to stay, but I mean, obviously you understand that they have to make moves because there's a new draft class every year. So people are moving up and moving up and moving up every single year. So you kind of understand that for sure.
So how did you first find out about the Otters?
Well, when I got released, within the day, I think I had 7 or 8 teams call me, independent league teams, and which I didn't know a whole lot about, but I didn't know that it also happened that quickly. It was kind of wild, to be honest with you. And actually, like I said, Bobby Siegel was my assistant coach in college, and I knew that he was coaching here. Just his brother worked at Morehead State, so I kind of knew that he was here. And so he actually called me. I never talked to Max Peterson, the pitching coach, or Andy McCauley, the head coach. I didn't talk to either of them before I got here. And I just talked to Bobby because I knew him. And it was really cool, and I trusted Bobby a lot. And Bobby's a guy that'll shoot you straight and tell you the truth. So I really liked that about him. And that was really the only way I really found out about the Otters. Other than that, I'm not sure I ever would have.
Now, you had a short stint with the Otters, came in hurt a little bit, and then you made 5 starts, 3-1 with a 1.55 and 26 Ks through 29 innings. That sound accurate?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I came in healthy and then got hurt. So I made 4 starts and then got hurt during my 4th start, and then made a 5th start and got signed after that.
And after your short stint with the Otters, you were fortunate enough to get picked up by the Reds. Being a Cincinnati guy, born and raised, what was that feeling like?
Yeah, it was unreal. I got to meet, like I said, a lot of my childhood heroes, like Barry Larkin. I was getting ready to start a game, and I'm sitting in the dugout, and I look down the dugout, and Barry Larkin's sitting on the same bench as me. So, that was kind of a surreal moment, which was cool for me. All the other guys didn't really realize how cool it was, but I definitely was like on cloud 9, getting to meet Barry Larkin and Eric Davis, Mario Soto, But yeah, I had a ton of fun, and I met a lot of great people, and yet again, I understood. I get what they mean when they say, hey, we got kind of a starter backup and you're the odd man out. I understand that. So, and it was no hard feelings at all, and I left on a good note with them and their front office people and their minor league coordinator and their player development coordinator. We left on a really good note, so maybe they'll help me out in the future. I don't know, but yeah, it was awesome. I had fun, and the worst part about getting released like that, or even like last year when I got signed, it's not like the leaving part is great because you're leaving. When you get signed, the leaving part is great, but you leave behind good people, and that's the same when you get released. You don't want to leave because you just leave behind all your buddies and all the good people that you met.
Now, throughout this process, you went from starter to reliever, and now you're back at a starter. Did you like that change, or did you want to make sure that if you got an opportunity, you would be a starting pitcher?
Well, yeah, I started in college and then relieved with the Twins and then started here. And honestly, the only reason I decided to start last year when I was coming here was just to prove to myself I could do it. Because I've already, in my opinion, I already proved to myself that I could relieve in the minor leagues. I had pretty good numbers doing that. And I wanted to just prove to myself I could start as well. Honestly, it was just a kind of a pride thing, I guess. It was really just flip the coin to see if I could or see if I couldn't.
So last we were with the Reds, didn't do too bad. Probably feel like you could have done better with a 2-5 record with above a 4 ERA or around 3 or so.
Yeah, it was like 4.
And you went into Reds spring training this year, or this past spring, and I feel like you were confident that you were able to make at least one of the rosters, right?
Yeah, you don't go into spring training unconfident to make anything. You go in there assuming you're going to make a team because you can't pitch with a mentality in spring training that you're afraid to get released. You just have to pitch with an assumption that you're going to make the team, and then if you get released, just let it catch you by surprise because you can't pitch under the assumption that they're going to let you go. But yeah, I had 2 bad starts last year that kind of inflated my numbers. They were against the same team. This team clearly loved hitting off me, but 2 bad starts, so that kind of inflated them. But 2 out of 10, that wasn't that bad. So I had 8 pretty decent starts in my opinion. But yeah, I understood that we had made a couple trades in the offseason, so we had a couple starters that were high A guys. So I kind of understood that I was going to have to show them a lot to keep me around, and then they actually had me on the reliever list in spring training. So I think if I would have gone to like high A or in Daytona or even double A, whatever the case was, I would have probably been a reliever, I think. I don't know.
Now, you're back here in Evansville, and as of now, you're pitching well. 3-0, 40 strikeouts, 9.96 ERA. We talked about it before, but you always go out there that you're going to do the best you can and give it your all. Have you been have you kind of looked back at your numbers, or are you just looking forward to the next start when you get it back on the mound?
Yeah, I mean, I look at them sometimes just because I'm curious. I'm sometimes, like this year, I've been curious about the strikeouts just to see how many I've had, and I look at the walks to try to engrave in my head to stop doing that. But obviously, I haven't stopped yet. But I'm gonna get better at that. But yeah, I mean, I look at it sometimes. It just kind of depends. I try to. I'm looking forward to my next start. I don't think anything past that ever. But yeah, I'm just going out there trying to give my team a chance to win. I mean, and if I'm doing well, that's great. But if I'm not doing well and we're still winning games, that's something I can deal with, to be honest with you.
Now, with it being your second time with the Otters, how have you embraced the Evansville community? Because clearly on game days, especially at home, they care about their Evansville Otters.
I mean, yeah, I love the community here. They're great. They bring a lot of good vibes on game day, and you're right. They're big fans of the Otters, which is awesome, and we need all the support we can get. And I mean, yeah, I've just embraced being around some familiar faces that I remember seeing from last year as well, and just tried to enjoy being around everybody.
I'll get to my final few, and Pat, really thank you so much. I appreciate it. You are Irish. We noted that at the beginning of the interview. I think it's safe to say we're a fan of beer.
Oh yeah.
So if it were up to you, when not playing baseball, what are some of the choices that you would have, especially on a hot summer day when it comes to a brew?
A hot summer day, I like the Larkin Kugels, the summer shandy. That stuff's good. But I mean, on just like a regular day, I usually just stick with Bud Light, the generic Bud Light.
Okay.
That's my go-to.
Personally, I'm not an IPA kind of guy, but I have tried the Larkin Kugels. It's just, I think IPAs, it comes to an acquired taste.
Well, Larkin Kugels is not an IPA. Okay. So yeah, the summer shandy is actually it's a lighter beer. It's just it's like a Bud Light Lime, to be honest, if you've ever had that.
Okay.
But yeah, there's some IPAs that I like too. When I actually played college summer ball out in Oregon, and the town that I lived in had upwards of 15 or 20 breweries in one town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I made it my personal goal to try as many as I could. and I think I succeeded pretty well. I tried a lot of them, which was awesome. And I had a host family out there my host dad was definitely into trying them with me, which was awesome.
Oh, that's always a good thing, to make your entire experience, whoever you are, just the best as possible.
Oh, yeah.
Can you make a Reuben, or is there anyone in your family who can make a good Reuben?
No, I've never made one, and I don't think anyone in my family has. I mean, I'm sure my dad probably can, but I've never seen him do it, so I'm not sure about that one.
Okay, we'll stick with food. You did have Panda Express coming in, so up to 5, what are some of your favorite foods?
Like foods or places to eat?
It doesn't matter. So when I asked this to Vail, he went Mexican, and then he went Chipotle as like a separate category in there. So totally up to you.
I'd say my favorite place to eat, I'll just go places.
Okay.
Yeah, probably Chipotle is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite. And then Panda Express, I eat that before game day when I pitch. And yeah, I like Italian food, like Olive Garden. Olive Garden is awesome.
You're better than Olive Garden, Pat. Olive Garden, in my opinion, is a little overrated.
Yeah, we had my favorite Italian place is this place we had in Moorhead called Mellini's. That was like very, very good Italian food. And even my grandpa's a Italian food connoisseur, and he even said it was one of the best places he's ever had. And
Okay. So with you having Italian food, a little Italian food background, that red stuff you put on your pasta, what's it called?
You mean just sauce?
Oh. So I call it gravy.
Oh.
Growing up, my mom used my grandmother's recipe, and she would have the tomato paste, but it would also cook the sausage, meatballs, pork, and beef in there, and therefore we call it gravy.
Okay, that's nice. That sounds good, though.
Yeah. Chicken parm guy, if you had to pick an Italian dish?
Yeah. I mean, I like chicken parm. I usually try to find like the stuffed shells. I love those. Those are awesome. Right. And most good Italian places have some sort of stuffed shells recipe.
Yeah. I mean, with Italian, you feel like you really can't go wrong. If you do, it's because you're really picky.
Yeah. You can't go wrong at all. I agree.
On the past couple of road trips, we've watched a handful of movies, up to 5 movies and/or TV shows.
Well, my favorite TV show is Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Because it's the best. And
were you okay with how it ended?
I'm not gonna say anything. I was okay with it. I'm not gonna say I was thrilled about it, but I think I'm one of the small majority that was okay with it. A lot of people were angry about it, but it didn't bother me a whole lot. I liked what they did with Arya. I think that was pretty cool how they kind of said that she's going to go off and explore. But yeah, I mean, I thought that was awesome. And another one of my favorite shows is Arrow.
Okay.
That new season came out this past week, so I'm watching that right now.
All right.
Then I love
You a Marvel or a DC guy?
Marvel for sure. Yeah, I like the Marvel stuff, but just a little bit better, not by much.
Going off. Sorry about that, but going off Marvel, were you okay with the way the Avengers ended?
I still have not seen the last Avengers movie yet.
Okay. I won't tell you anything
Yeah,
then.
so I'm waiting to see it, or I'm gonna see it at some point. But that was kind of when it came out. It was kind of like I was in busy mode with getting here and baseball and stuff like that. So I still haven't seen it yet. But I like How I Met Your Mother too. I'm a big show guy more than a movie guy. I think I love watching shows. Have you ever seen a show called Rules of Engagement? I've watched that show many times. I think that's probably about 5. That's probably
okay. I am a big How I Met Your Mother fan. In a way, I wanted to see what it was like for Ted to raise his kids, but that wasn't the point of the show.
Yeah.
It was how Ted was able to meet the mother of his children.
Yeah. I thought that was cool too. Yeah, and I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen all the episodes of that, and it was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to spoil it on anybody for those who haven't watched the show, but I think it's safe to say Robin Scherbatsky plays a big role throughout the entire show.
Yeah, and kind of unknowingly to everybody almost until you see the whole thing.
What are some of your hobbies outside of baseball? I feel like basketball is one of them, but do you do anything else besides shoot hoops?
Yeah, I go out and shoot basketball every once in a while, but I play a lot of golf. That's probably I probably play more golf than I shoot baskets. That's usually my main hobby. When I'm at home, I just kind of hang out with my buddies, and we usually find something to do that doesn't get us in too much trouble.
Of course.
Yeah, I play a lot of golf is probably my main thing.
Okay. Who is your inspiration?
Probably my mom and dad. They're just such. Hopefully, I'm as good of a person as they are. I don't know if I am or not, but hopefully, that's what I try to be. And just how honest they are, and how great of people. They're so giving, and I mean, they still give to their 25-year-old son that lives at home. So I think that's pretty nice of them.
Yeah. Did they travel to every one of your games, and sometimes there were late nights or long days where you played earlier or played 2 games during the day and then you had to drive back home? Were they those kind of parents?
Yeah. They were at everything. Even in college and pro ball, my mom's a flight attendant, so
oh wow.
So she comes to games all the time, pretty much regardless of location. So she's seen a lot of stadiums in the United States, which has been pretty cool for her. Even like I said, when I played summer ball out in Oregon, she came out 2 or 3 times. And it was my mom and dad for sure, and my brother too. I think I probably look up to him more than he probably realizes, even though he's my younger brother. But he's got a lot of characteristics that I am jealous of and that I try to mimic, like very, very courageous person and very honest person. So my mom, my dad, my brother for sure.
Awesome. Going off travel, have you been to Ireland? And if you could think of a few places for a vacation spot, where would you go?
I have not been to Ireland yet. So I've been to London, and I've been to Frankfurt, Germany.
Okay.
And I think me and my mom are going to try to.
History in those places.
Yeah, which was really cool. And me and my mom are going to try to go to Paris next, and then go to Dublin after that. So we usually try to do one per off season. This past off season is the first one that we haven't done in a while. Okay. But I'm busy every off season. But yeah, I think this year we're going to try to do Paris sometime in the fall. And my brother's been to Paris with her, and he said it was awesome. So I'm looking forward to trying that out, and then go try all the beers up in Ireland after that.
Of course. Any particular vacation spots have you had the option?
I want to go to Hawaii. I've never been. I'd like to go down there, and I think like one of those travel cruises that goes around like the Caribbean. I think that'd be kind of fun too.
Okay. So I have been to Hawaii. It's really cool. The water is blue. Growing up in Jersey, at the Jersey Shore, the water is kind of murky, brown, black. Yeah. So you can see your feet when you go into the ocean, and you can catch a wave 100 yards out and ride it in on a surfboard. So one of your must-dos is to surf when you're in Hawaii.
Okay, yeah. I'll definitely do that if I ever end up down there. I hope I do. But, yeah, I'll definitely try that out.
My last question for you is, what is the best piece of advice you have received, or is there a quote you live by that you try to live out every day?
I'll tell you the best piece of pitching advice I've ever received is from my head coach in college. He loves that I tell this story, and I still tell him it every time I see him. And the best piece of pitching advice I ever got from him was strikeouts don't go over the fence. And so that's why I've tried to hunt strikeouts as much as I can, and that it's showing a little more this year than it was last year. But previous years with the Twins, I was striking out over a batter an inning every single year. And so that's my baseball quote that my head coach in college, Coach McGuire, said that, and that's my favorite thing that he's ever said to me. And a quote to live by, it's not really a quote or anything, but one of my dad's friends, I'll never forget this. I still have a picture of it, I believe, but he wrote in a graduation card, and I'll never forget what it said. It said, "Dear Patrick, from here on out, no one owes you anything. Good luck with the journey."
Wow.
Yeah. So
that is impactful.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool, and he said, "No one owes you anything. Good luck with the journey." And I thought that was pretty. Like, I think I value honesty a lot, and that was like the most honest answer and most truthful answer I could have possibly gotten from anybody at a graduation party when I was 18 years old. But yeah, I think I still have a picture of it in my phone, and I always keep it, and I stumble upon it every once in a while when I see it.
Wow. So Pat, a courageous man, a leader on and off the field, at times a superhero, but most importantly, overall a great guy. Pat, I really appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
A big thanks to my guest, Patrick McGuff. If you enjoyed this podcast, please hit the thumbs up button at the bottom of the screen and leave a comment below. Remember to click subscribe to get all the latest media content with the Evansville Otters. Don't forget to follow the Otters on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Once again, thank you for listening to this week's Otters Cast. Until next time, I'm David Nguyen.